Welcome everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Jennifer Daure, and she is a transformational coach at Timeless Living, and I'm so excited to have her here today because we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is self-confidence when it comes to dating. So welcome, Jennifer, to the show.
Thank you for having me, Susan.
It's great to have you here. So before we get started, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, I come from Montreal, and I've been probably living in the U.S. for about 4.5 years. So if you hear a little bit of an accent, that's because my first language is French. But people like to make fun of me sometimes of weird things that I can say that comes up. I am also a transformational coach. I have a 1-year training with Accomplishment Coaching, which is an elite program accredited by the International Coach Federation. I'm married, happily married. I live in a great condo. We actually bought our condo together, our first acquisition together, which I'm really excited about. And I'm happy to be here and go through the topic with you guys.
Yeah, so let's jump into it. So, we're going to talk about self-confidence, but before we do, when it comes to dating, I want you to tell our audience why self-confidence is so important.
Well, confidence is really important because it's really honoring who we are as a person, and it reflects from yourself, from the inside and out. So it's easy to tell when somebody is not confident because they're not going to be themselves, and they're never going to be able to show up in the world as who they are.
Right. And when it comes to dating, can you give us your 3 best tips?
Yeah, well, my 3 best tips that I have when it comes to dating is really asking yourself what you want, like what you really want. You got to shut up all the noise around you and really listen to yourself. And again, it's about all honoring that inner voice because sometimes like we go out there in dating and we try to please others without honoring who we are. So the first tip is to ask ourselves what we want. The second one would be about practicing saying no. And again, it's about honoring your voice, but it's also, when you go out and dating and you meet a guy and they want to go see a movie that you don't really like, or they want to go to a restaurant of kind of food you don't really like. Sometimes you will say yes because you just want to go out there and say, oh, I really want to date and I really like this guy and maybe I can please the guy. But it's not yourself. So it's important to practice saying no. It's about also respecting yourself by saying that.
So when it comes to saying no, though, I think a really good point is it's not about, what I hear you saying is it's not about being a people pleaser. Like, just don't go along with it just because that's what he wants to do. And I would preface the saying no with, you want to say it in the right way, like just not, no, I don't want to do that. It's about saying, it's okay to say that you don't want to do something, but it's all in the way you say it. So if he says, let's go see a movie, another way to say that you don't want to do it is, why don't we go do this, and this sounds like it might be a lot more fun, or something like that. You just don't want to say no because it will turn him off too, because it almost comes across as rejection, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's exactly, you have the nail on it, because it's not about having it being black or white, because you do want to do things to explore what the other person like and all that beautiful stuff. But it's like, the practice of saying no, you're not desperate. If it's really something that you don't want to do or that you're not interested in, then there's no point.
Right, and I want to go back to your first point about asking yourself what you want, because I think you made a really, really great point about how you need to figure out what you want and stop trying to figure out what he wants and trying to become that person that he wants you to be, right? So if you're confident in who you are, then it doesn't matter what he wants, right?
Exactly. I mean, I guess my first wedding was a great example of that. When I was married, I thought that for being with the man of my dreams was to be a person that I was not, and it didn't work. So, and then I learned that it was important to ask for what I wanted and to honor who I was.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. So I know your third tip is about doing it anyways and just being messy and choosing it. So can you explain that further?
Yeah, well, you're never going to be ready enough. You're never going to be self-confident enough. You're never going to be the perfect person. Nobody's perfect. So what I mean by doing it anyway and being messy. Just go out there and dating. The only way to make yourself to be better at dating is to just do it. You know, no matter if you Google all the tips, or I'm going to take example, if you want to build a plane, you can read as much as you want about it. You can Google it as much as you want. You can take your classes, and you will never get better until you actually do it and build it.
That is so true, because I think a lot of people, they wait till the perfect, quote unquote, perfect time to do something. There's never a perfect time. And I find that when you do that, you start to procrastinate, and then you just don't do anything, right? Yeah. And the thing is you're right. You just got to get out there and do it. Like, sometimes what I'll hear women say is, oh, you know what, I don't want to get out there yet. I want to lose 10 pounds. And you know what? No one cares. Just get out there and start dating, because you're never going to figure out what you want until you get out there, right?
Exactly. It's again like being yourself. Like, choose it. You can choose to go out there and dating and be messy. And people are going to say, the most important thing is what you think of you.
Right. And this is the other thing that I tell women all the time, and I think this is very, very important. Ladies, listen up. This is very important. If you don't know your self-worth and what you have to offer, how is he going to see what your self-worth is about and what you have to offer? So you have to remember that. If you're not confident in yourself, he can't be confident in who he's dating either. So that's a great point. So Jennifer, give us what is your best dating tip when it comes to self-confidence?
Well, the best dating tip is be you. It's as simple as that. And also, I may add to that, to know what self-confidence looks like for you, because it's not the same for anybody. So be yourself and know what it is to be self-confident for yourself.
And ladies, I want to add on one more tip to that, is men think self-confidence in women is so sexy, because if you don't have self-confidence, you come across as insecure, and that's a huge turnoff to men. So ladies, start working on your self-confidence and get out there and date. So Jennifer, how can our audience find you?
You can find me at www.jenniferdaure.com. The last part of my name spelling Daure.
Ladies, our show, Single and Stilettos, is available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you would like to get the podcast, you can go to iTunes. And if you would like to get our free report on the top 10 secrets on what attracts a man and what turns him off, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.